أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. We thank Allah for sparing our lives and giving us another opportunity to witness another episode of OU Who Believe, program of Man UK, broadcasting live from London, United Kingdom, and watched all over the world. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Falilat Ilubumi Alabi, and I'm delighted to welcome you to today's episode. It promises to be a fantastic one, a special one as usual. We always bring special things. Today, our father, the moderator, is going to wear two of his beautiful hats. Going to be one of the speakers as well as moderator. So please invite your family and friends to watch and to join this program. Share it on all your social media platforms. And please, if you have any contribution or questions to ask, use the chat button or the Q&A, or you can even raise up your hands to ask questions when the time comes. We want to thank all the people that have been donating. Please keep it coming. And the Quadra is still going on. Please, if you have any money that you're not using, that you're keeping aside, please give it to us to use it to build the house of Allah, and you get the reward accordingly. Also, please don't forget to bring your children to the markers, because as it is now, I'm going to invite one of the pupils of Old Kent Road markers to give us the opening Quran recitation. Bismillah, Aisha Ilitu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة ونخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما لؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشأة في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Allahu Akbar. Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Aisha. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you for the beautiful recitation. May Allah count it as part of your good deed and act of ibadah. Jazakumullah khairan. Now, moving on, we still have more announcements. The hybrid fundraiser is coming up very soon, so please look out for that. And by popular demand, as I said, we always have special every week. We have brought back Brother Sahid Juma for the cyber security opportunities. So thank you so much, Brother Juma and Sahid Juma, for coming back today. We thank you and we appreciate your time with us. So now I'll hand over to our father, who I said will be wearing his two hats today. Professor Mashood Adebayo Badiri. Bismillah, sir.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza Laja Fadila for signing us off. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I also welcome every one of us to this week's edition of OE Who Believe. And I want to thank our guest speaker, Madam Said Juma. You have been brought back by special demand. I was not here last week. I also want to thank Laji Imam Hussein Ajikali for holding the fort. May Allah continue to count this as part of our good deeds, inshallah. All you who believe us comes to stay. So, I mean, may Allah continue to strengthen it and strengthen all those who are behind it. Today's program is different in the sense that, you know, I normally moderate, as Alaja Fadila said, but because we want to really reflect, we want to dedicate this week's program as a tribute to Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You know, during this week, that's on Monday specifically, we heard the news that Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Qaradawi has answered the call of his Lord at the age of 96. You know, I mean, if you reflect, I mean, he was born in the same year as the Queen, actually, and died in the same year, 96 years. It was a very big loss. It has been a very big loss for the Muslim Ummah globally. And you find out that all leading scholars, organizations have been giving condolences, ta'aziyah, giving tribute about Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi. So inshallah today, this would be a tribute to him. I want us to reflect on the demise of Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi, particularly in the context of, the importance of religious scholars in Islam and the sorrow of their death, what their death means for the Muslim community. There have been a lot of hadith and a lot of statements regarding the death of Muslim scholars. So I will speak to that. We'll reflect over that briefly for about 15 minutes or thereabout. And then our guest speaker, Alhaji Said Olasukami Jimoh, who is an information security architect. We speak on cybersecurity from where he stopped last week. Inshallah, he will have 20 minutes. He will be speaking about building a career in cybersecurity, inshallah. Now, as I mentioned, it is very well known across the Muslim world that the death of scholars, that is pious scholars, scholars who are sincere, who are pious, is very sorrowful, and it is usually described as a calamity. You find many scholars, writing about this as a calamity to the Muslim Ummah, and the reason is very clear. If you look in all the writings of the scholars about, the death of pious Muslim scholars, it is because Islam is a religion based on knowledge. Islam is not a religion. You cannot be a complete Muslim without having some knowledge of the deen, of the religion. Everything about Islam is based on knowledge. People have to, whatever you do, it has to have its foundation in the sources. And this is why, scholars are very, very important at every age and every period of the faith of Islam. And we find this, when the Prophet was talking about the fact that the Anbiya, the prophets, they don't leave estates of dirham or dinar. They don't leave wealth. He says they leave behind knowledge. And then he went on to say that al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. He said the scholars are the inheritors of the prophets. Allah sent the prophet for a purpose, to guide mankind and to remove us from darkness into light. But prophethood stopped with the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And therefore, those who stepped into the shoes of the Prophet in relation to guidance are the scholars. And this is why the Prophet mentioned, he says, Al-ulama warathatul anbiya. That is, the scholars are the inheritors of the prophets. And when we have pious scholars, such as Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi, their death are considered to be a calamity. And I will come to some of their hadith in the sense that, when Allah talks about the fact that before the end of time, knowledge will be removed from earth. What it means is that it is a reference to the death of the scholars. One scholar, one of our scholars described the ulama, the scholars, he says that hum fi sama'il ilmu nujumuha. He said that, well, if you look at the sky of knowledge, if you take knowledge to be the sky, then scholars are the stars in the sky. When there are no stars in the sky, everything is dark at night. So he says, if you take the sky as knowledge, then the scholars, they are its stars. And he said, وَفِي الْأَرْضِ هُدَّاتُهَا وَهِدَّاتُهَا. And if you take the earth, to be knowledge, then the scholars are the guides of the earth. They guide you, because on earth, if you want to walk around, you need some guide. Today we use, navigators when we are driving. The scholars on earth, the scholars are the guide of the earth, and they are its distinctive ones, And Sheikh Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi, everybody agrees that is one, if not the leading pious scholar of our time. He was 96. You cannot say he's of our generation. We are not in the 90s yet, but of our time, you know, he left a lot of legacies. And his work, anyone who is a scholar of Islam, a scholar of knowledge in Islam today, will have benefited from the knowledge of Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Now, many of us, even before now, I mean, many of us, anybody, for example, even in Nigeria, all over the world, you know, his book, that book he wrote, Al-Halal wal-Haram fil Islam. You know, I mean, it translates so many languages and also into English, so popular, printed and printed over again. And it's like an encyclopedia. It has a big name, you know, the permissible and the prohibited in Islam. I mean, it's very, and it was, I mean, you know, it's a summary of day-to-day things. If anybody wants to know what is permitted in Islam and what is prohibited, many of the issues that cause controversy today, if you look in that book, Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi did mention them. And, you know, everyone benefits from the book today. Now, when we talk about one of the pillars of Islam, I mean, zakat, his thesis, he wrote his PhD on zakat, even before now, because he foresaw that, look, zakat, we need to understand it in social justice terms of our time, you know, and it has become the encyclopedia, also has been translated, you know, and reprinted and reprinted. Anybody who really wants to understand the operation of zakat in modern times, you know, I mean, the main book that any good scholar will refer you to is to Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi's book on zakat. You know, he addressed so many issues, because if you, for example, if you look at, I mean, classical books of, I mean, classical rules of zakat, you find issues like, I mean, salary earners are not covered in there, you know, and he addressed all those modern questions in relation to that question. And he wrote more than 100 books, and that's really a big legacy. Scholars indicate that he has written, one will not hesitate to say that he has written on almost every topic that is relevant in our lives as Muslims, you know. And apart from that, those who speak Arabic, if you watch Al Jazeera, he had a weekly program, you know, Sharia wal Hayat, that is the Sharia and life, whereby he talks on subjects every week, and people will call in all over the world, you know. Even in Europe, we benefit from him. We have been, he established, you know, I mean, he was one of the leaders, was actually the brain behind the establishment of the European Fatwa Council, you know, because, I mean, many of the issues that happens in Europe that didn't happen in other parts of the world, based on his knowledge, he issued fatwa. He has a committee by which, I mean, fatwas are issued in that regard. Although some of the fatwas that were issued, some scholars found it controversial, but he understood. He gave the fatwas in relation to, you know, the life Muslims living in Europe, and he established the concept of wasatiyya, that, you know, Islam is a religion of the middle path. He will always give the fatwa, you know, based on the middle path, not relaxing too much, not hard line, middle path all the time. You know, sometimes he gives fatwas and some will disagree with it. But despite that, he was highly respected because his sincerity was very clear. You know, all Muslim scholars, jurists identified him as a sincere, pious scholar. So even if they disagree with his fatwas, they still respected him, because the Prophet said they knew he was doing it sincerely. Because the Prophet, based on the tradition of the Prophet, they said that if a scholar, a mujtahid, gave a fatwa, if he did it sincerely, if he got it right, Allah will give him 2 rewards. This is what the Prophet said. Even if he got it wrong, Allah will still give him 1 reward. So if you look at it from that point of view, Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, you know, has really made a lot of contribution based on his knowledge and based on the fact, as we did say, that, well, Islam is a religion based on knowledge. So his passing is a big calamity. Now, many scholars have written about that. I mean, the fact that when scholars like Yusuf Qaradawi dies, it's irreparable. You know, Ibn Abbas is reported to have said that Maut al-alim thulmatun fil Islam. He said that, you know, the death of a scholar, a pious scholar, is an irreparable loss in Islam. You know, he said, La yasudduha shay'un ma ikhtalafa al-layl wan nahar. There's nothing can repair it as long as there's day and night. You know, so there's no way you see, that's the book it's been displayed the lawful and prohibited. Anybody who doesn't know this or who has not read it, I recommend it to you in very simple, plain language. Many of the controversial issues, you know, that people are still struggling and debating today, whether Muslims should take photographs or not, and things like that. He had addressed all of them in here. You know, whether Muslims should eat the food of the Ahlul Kitab or not. Many, many issues. You know, he addressed them in very, very simple terms with authorities. You know, so a lot of materials, I mean, are there. You know, one scholar asked people saying that ma alamatu halak nas, you know, he said, I mean, that do you know the what are the signs of the destruction of people? You know, what are the signs of when that calamity falls the ummah? He then said is a halaka ulama'uha, that is when the scholars of an ummah are destroyed, then, you know, the ummah itself should fear that our destruction is coming to it, because of the fact that this is based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he indicates that certainly Allah says that he will uplift, he will take knowledge away at a particular point in time before the end of time. But he said that, you know, Allah will not take it, we will not see that the knowledge is being carried away. He said Allah will take it away by taking away renowned scholars from the ummah. And he referred to the fact that, you know, indicating that, I mean, Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Ra'd, you know, Quran chapter 13, verse 41. Allah tells us, أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا نَاتِيَ الْأَرْضِ نَنْقُصُهَا مِنْ أَطْفَارِهَا. Don't you see? Allah says, don't you see? You know, the earth will be diminishing it on its edges, will be diminishing the edge little by little. The earth will be diminishing it little by little by taking away its edges, you know. And scholars indicate that Ibn Abbas said that, you know, do you know what that means when Allah says that he will nankusuha min atfariha, that is, we will be diminishing the earth by diminishing its edges. So Ibn Abbas said, do you understand what is it physically? Say, will you be going to look and see whether the edges of the earth are being chipped away? Ibn Abbas indicates, he said that, look, and he said, you should understand, that is, the diminishing of the earth, huwa bimauti ulama'iha wa fuqaha'uha wa ailul khair minha. He said, Allah will be diminishing the earth by the death of the scholars and also the death of those who do good on earth. Because and when all scholars are gone, you find out that, I mean, you know, the Prophet said it another way, indicating that, you know, after Allah, if Allah takes away people of knowledge, then people on earth will have no option. They will only be appointing the ignorant amongst them to be their leaders. And by that, you will see that there will be no peace on earth. You will see that everything will not work as it should work. And by that, you know that the earth is diminishing. You know? So Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi, you know, we really have to reflect over this. And it tells us a lesson. You know, you don't treasure something until you lose it. Even though he was quite old, I mean, 96, people were still shocked, and it hit people. So, you know, when people of knowledge or people of benefit are within us, and we continue to enjoy them, sometimes we forget. People forget, they think that they will be here forever, and we are lackadaisical. Instead of quickly going to their need and benefiting from their knowledge before they go, By the time they go, we begin to, Imati law, so it's really when we have opportunity that scholars are within us, because Islam, is a religion based on knowledge, and we have to try as much as possible, to ensure, Imam Ibn Hanbal, he indicated in a state, which is really very, very important. A lot of the time, what prevents people from really seeking knowledge when people of knowledge are around is because of our kasab, seeking what we will eat, seeking what we will drink, seeking what we will wear. And this sometimes, prevent us from seeking knowledge that will benefit us here in this world and hereafter, when people of knowledge are still available. But he said, he said we should know, men, he said human beings are much more in need of knowledge than of food and drink. Because he said, you should think about it. He said you only need food either one time or 2 times, or mostly 3 times a day. But he said you need knowledge to survive. You need knowledge every minute of your life. But people do not know. We think that, well, it's food. He said you only need food about 3. The food itself, without knowledge, you'll not be able to know what is halal to eat, what will benefit your body. It is the knowledge that actually helps you to be able to know the type of food that you eat. So we have to reflect over this. If Allah will have mercy on people who will live forever, the ulama, the anbiya, and then the ulama, the Yorubas will say, Baba Shepa Fulai, Ababa Muhammadu, Ababa Muhammada. If people will have lived forever, the prophets will be here with us forever. And scholars like Qaradawi, because of the benefit they serve to people, Allah will make them endure. It teaches us that, and when we have people, when we have scholars within us, we should quickly learn from them. But we thank Allah for him, and we really. This is what we are saying. Sheikh Yusuf Qaradawi, he wrote, as they say, I've not counted, but you find a lot of, legacies. He wrote more than 100 books, which is benefiting people. As I said, anyone who has Islamic knowledge today will have read something. And he was a very humble man, very open, to everyone. And he suffered a lot because he spoke truth to power. There was one video he did. He said if he was somebody who really wanted power, because, at one time it was at really the relations between himself and the government of and the state in Egypt was not very good. He had to leave the country. Actually, there was a case brought to him in which they sentenced him in absentia because he was speaking truth to power. He said if he was a scholar who wanted to be kneeling at the gates of royalty, he was trying to say that if his effort was not based on sincerity, he could have benefited a lot, because he said people who were even very lower than him, benefit a lot from the state. But he always spoke truth to power. He was telling the state their responsibility, and he continued to do that till the end of his life. In one video, he was indicating, because there was a very bad judgment. They said nobody can take his life, nobody can stop him from speaking because he has faith in Allah. And he lived up to a ripe age of 96. So as we reflect over him, as we, dedicate this week's O Ye Who Believe in tribute to him, we should reflect over this. Knowledge is the best thing that we should really aim for, as much as we can, to live a better life and also in the hereafter. And we should all struggle, to live a legacy, good legacy. If you're a scholar, try to live good knowledge, no matter how little. Do something. He established schools, in Qatar. He established, do something to help the other. And this is really very, very important. We pray that may Allah, but we are all human. It's a human being. May Allah forgive all his shortcomings as a human being. May Allah accept him and put him in Al-Jannatul Firdaus, amongst the Salihin, among the Shuhada, among the Anbiya, because he really benefited the Muslim Ummah and the Muslim community. So let us all recite, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Qul Huwallahu 3 times. We pray that Allah puts Sheikh Yusuf Abdullah Al-Qardawi in Al-Jannatul Firdaus. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad, wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad, wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad, wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wassalamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So now, Jazakumullah khair jaza.
The urgent need to cater for our fast-growing community of mosque users. The belief in Allah's promise to reward every effort towards the building of a mosque with paradise, and our commitment to the next generation of believers informed our decision to start the rebuild by pulling down the 100-year-old building. Now was the time to have a brand new purpose-built 6-story Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Centre, strategically sited here in London. Join us on this journey of faith by donating and encouraging others to do the same. You can pay in any currency. May Allah bless you abundantly. Ameen.
You are muted, sir.
Jazakumullah khair jaza. That clip also reminds us, it's part of legacy. We should all put hands together. We can leave different legacies so that after we leave the earth, after we leave, people can be, when they see all those things, they will remember that, these are part of the work we contributed to and left legacies on. So let us continue to, all those who have been donating, contributing to ensure that, the mosque project keeps going. May Allah reward you. And, but still we need continued effort in that regard. So let us keep donating and donating and donating until perhaps, we complete that project. But we'll be coming back again to that. Let me now call on our second speaker, guest speaker for today, Alhaji Said Olasukan Jima, to now give us his presentation on building a career in cybersecurity. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I must start by appreciating the Prof and those behind him in making this possible all the time, for giving me the opportunity to use this important platform, which has brought Muslim brothers and sisters together since pandemic, and you have continued to do so. And this is more than 100 episodes that we have seen so far. So I want to thank other people as well, Imam Salami, our father, Alhaji Alabi, and the likes that are here with us, and including our president, Alhaji Idris Eletu. So today, without any further ado, if I didn't mention your name, it's not because you're not important. I'm just conscious of time. I don't want to waste the time, because it's a race against time. So I'll be sharing my screen to continue from where we started last week. Make it in presentation mode. Last week, I talked about what are the drivers of cybersecurity. For those that missed the last session, you can go to My UK's YouTube page or Facebook to get what we've talked about before. Just to remind us all, cybersecurity has become critical to the fabric of any business because there are many breaches happening day by day, and this has been reiterated by Martin Nukoven. And what are those things driving this? Phishing attacks. I told you last week, you get text messages, they will tell you to click on the link or call a number. There's always sense of urgency in whatever they want you to do. And then you do it without knowing that you are giving key to your treasury. And people would put you under pressure, and you say, because I have a package, with Royal Mail or the likes. Ransomware attack, if you remember vividly, we experienced this in NHS, like I mentioned last week, and this happened to Colonial Pipeline in America, where they have to pay money to hackers in cryptocurrency. So malware is where you go online, you said you want to download free software, you click on it quickly, you want to download. Before you know it, your system has become a bot. So somebody somewhere, you don't know whether in Ukraine, in Poland, in Nigeria, whatever you can name it, somebody's controlling your assets. So they become a bot, part of the system they use in completing their attacks. Activism. You've heard about Edward Snowden and the likes. Some people, they hack system for activism because they want to pass on a message. Insider attack. This happens in every organization. Somebody is not happy about the direction of his organization, and then they just put the data out there for people to have access to critical information. Data leakage, people just go into the organization, copy critical information, highly classified information, send it out of the organization by email. So these are the reasons why cybersecurity is becoming more prominent. And if I give you a shocker, the pandemic really opened the eyes of many CEOs, many presidents, many directors of organizations, because we never thought we can work from home. No one of those organizations have tested their business continuity plan. So it was a shocker, and people were running here and there, trying to find solutions to their problems. Okay, so for instance, if you heard about British Airways, they were a victim of attack too in 2019. So hackers lifted customers' names, email addresses, and the likes. And they paid what? £183 million to the UK government. Another one that is the shocker is Marriott Hotels. They acquired a smaller organization, believing they were okay. And before you know it, before they said Jack Robinson, and it was Starwood. So data of their customers already in the hands of the bad boys that we call them, hackers. And because they acquired this organization without doing due diligence to understand what is lurking around, they were fined £99 million. That was July 2019. Then Facebook, they were lucky just because they were not the ones that actually perpetrated this act. But if you remember years back, you have field surveys which you never knew they were using that to predict how you behave. And if you go on Google and search, it aided Donald Trump to win election because they were able to predict people's behavior, and they were sending them what would make them not to like their preferred candidates. And also, if you're hearing it, they'll say the Russian helped Donald Trump to get his position there. A lot happened. You can read about this on Google because of time. Equifax is another one. This one happened September 2018, and they paid 561 million equivalent in pounds to the US government. So a lot of things are happening that are getting wrapped that we don't know about in the public. But these are the things driving organizations to do the best they can to secure their critical assets. And I told you last week, if you go on the internet, check Tech Monitor, you see there are about 4.07 million work or positions across the world. In Europe, including UK as well, we have 291,000 positions. This number is changing every day. But the highest is 2.6 million, like I said last week in NAPAC. So every time you will see that when they are giving this survey, this information, Africa is not inclusive because it's not included rather because our information are not in the public domain like that. But there are a lot of attacks going on every part of the world. So if these are the jobs that are available, what are the positions? That's what I'm trying to show on the right-hand side. What are the positions? Which are the organizations that are advertising? Finance and insurance, they're the one advertising the most. If I say finance, it has taken care of banks, credit card organizations, and insurance as well. Insurance these days, because they want to insure organizations against cyber attacks, they are needing people to help them do due diligence before they take on board these risks that they are trying to take ownership of. You want to drive they take ownership of your risk, you pay them a token because they are asking for many as possible. They can pay whatever happens at the end of the day. So IT too is the next in line. So if you look at that image, you can see that there are many tech sectors that are looking for people to help them to guide the organization, even universities as well. And then if you want to confirm this, we go to Burning Glass Technologies. That is where you can get real-time details about available jobs in the public domain. Then on the left-hand side, you will see the position they're advertising for. 10% of that is security engineer, security architect, like that. And then to the level of information security engineer. So there are some skills there that requires a lot of technological understanding. Some of them, there are transferable skills where you are now that you can take there that will be helping you to gain a lot of information. Last week, I showed us this, but just to reiterate that, what kind of money can you get? People that I've mentored, I've seen people, the littlest they've received is £45,000 per year. And what I want to mention upon this is that people, many of us here, we have dreams of owning our own homes, and getting the deposit is the most challenging. I can tell you for a fact, categorically, people that I've mentored, that have gotten jobs in this sector, they've been able to bring their family from Nigeria here and be able to pay for their wives or their families to study. And you know what international students are paying for to study in the UK. So that means you can earn a lot if you join this sector, because banks, they want to give you a loan, for instance, or you can earn enough if you're a contractor to pay for whatever that you want to do. If you plan very well. If you remember in CNMO, I brought a guy who came to talk about careers for the youth in the IT sector. If you remember very well how much the brother said he earns, it's close to 90K per annum. So there are opportunities there. So let's say you're an accountant, you have some transferable skills that we know that you can bring to this sector. You can become a cybersecurity auditor because you already understand the skills of auditing. And we'll just take you through what are the standards you need to look at and how you can transfer that your knowledge. And you can easily become a cybersecurity auditor or information security auditor or become an implementer. So if you're a teacher, because you know how to present, you know how to present facts. So we need you to bring these skills, and you can easily become a cybersecurity manager or become an officer if you like. Healthcare sector, you talk about risk a lot. You triage, we do the same in cybersecurity. You triage, you do risk mitigation, you do risk treatment, and you continue to monitor that risk and see whether it's changing from low to medium or high. So these are the things that we do in information security, risk management. Compliance, we have standard. One of them is ISO 27001. They have their requirements. For this requirement, you help your organization to make sure they meet those requirements and they can go for certification, because we call them badges of honor. So organizations that can show this badge that I've gotten ISO 27001, they'll be respected because they take their customers' information into cognizance and they don't want to mess with them. For analysts, maybe you're a researcher, you know how to analyze information, then you can become cybersecurity analyst. And there are tools that will help you to do this. I will take you through what are those tools. YouTube, for instance, is a place that you can even go to and get more information about these rules that I'm talking about here. Maybe you're an engineer, you are used to drawing graphs, getting details out of images and all that. So you can easily become a cybersecurity engineer. And the engineering we are talking about, you are not taking your ruler, you are not trying to use AutoCAD. That's not what we do. What we say is try to get the foundational elements once you know them, and then you can easily interpret what your tool is telling you, because we have easily transferred this information. Gone are those days that we do logging, and those logs, somebody will sit at the desk and be looking at those logs and be saying what is strange that we are seeing here. These days, there are tools that will do that for you, but because you understood the foundational elements, you can easily interpret what you're seeing on the screen. I beg your pardon. So security, maybe you are doing physical security now, you guard the post, you ensure the right person gets into your workplace. So you can easily bring that into security too, because you already have that mindset of trying to take away the bad guys from your organization. What do they do? These guys, they work in security operations centers. Every day they look at the dashboard and check what is the strength that we are seeing. Is there any virus? Is there anything being reported in threat intelligence that will do? Because there are many websites that you can go to and get what are the bad software that we have out there. Which one do we have in our organization? So we do vulnerability management and the likes and see what is the position of the health of our organization and advise immediately as possible so that we can make sure these things are corrected. Okay, so the next thing I want to take us through is, you've heard this. How do you start your journey? According to this statement by somebody that we don't know, anonymous, he said, if you know your destination, your journey is short. If you know how to get there, your journey is shorter. But if you have someone taking you there, your journey is the shortest. So what do you need to do to get knowledge? So before we delve into that, I just wanted to take us to one important research that's been done by the government for us. And that is, let's go to this website to start with, and that is DCMS. And DCMS, what have they talked about? They've talked about what are the skills, the gaps within the industry. And the research goes into labor market. It explores the nature of extent of cybersecurity skill gaps, people lacking appropriate skills, and skill shortage, a lack of people available to work in cybersecurity job roles, using a mixture of many things, representative surveys with cybersecurity or businesses and wider population of UK organizations. So I will share this link later so they can see them. Another one that I wanted to share is this one that contains other information that you can get. It can guide you whether what I'm telling you today is the truth or not. And then about the salaries, if you go to Total Jobs, for instance, put information security analyst, you can see what you can earn. For instance, 45K, like I told you, this is the list of somebody that I've mentored as earned.
Right, we
Can you see that?
We can't see it.
You can see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me reshare. I think I was sharing my PowerPoint before. New share. Let me share the whole page. All right. Can you see it now? Can you see this page now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm really sorry. Let me go back. This CMS, this is the report I was talking about.
Okay.
This is a page. You can see Burning Glass that I mentioned before is there. And here is this CMS. They've done research on this, and this is year 2022. So this is really, really current. And you can go there and get more information about what they have found. So the Department of Culture, Media, and Sports, and they've released this report. If you want to get a copy of that, this is where it is. You can get the PDF of this report they have written. And another one is this one too, where you can get other information as well. Then I mentioned if you want to get jobs, know what are the salary ranges. Minimum, like I said, just for the sake of, because I didn't show the page before, minimum you can get 45K. There are practical examples of this, of people that I've mentored that have gotten this. Then let's go back to the page that was before. So there is a training that I do. And why did I start this? I mentioned this last week. There is skill shortage within the sector. And because of this shortage, we need to make sure our people are getting into this sector because of one thing. This is a sector that if you're in there, you can continue even after your retirement. They'll call you for one thing or the other. The only thing you need to do is to earn that your own spot within that sector. And once your CV can speak for you, the limit is beyond the sky. For permanent jobs, before you know, between 2 years, you start getting jobs that will be asking you about senior leadership role, whether you can do that. Once you can defend yourself, that is it. So the training I do for people to easily get into this sector, because if you go out there, you see Firebrand, you see Simple Learn, some of their courses, they cost a lot. Some is 3,000, 5,000 and the like. So I said, okay, how do we get our people into this sector? Is to have what we call accelerated cybersecurity training. And we take you through risk assessment. That is where we take you through the rudiments of how to do risk assessment, how to identify risk, how to mitigate risk, how to monitor risk, vulnerability management. Like you take your car for MOT, we'll teach you how to check the state of health of systems and how to interpret the result that you see. networking, how you network, like you have router in your home, how you connect your devices, how you firewall them to prevent bad guys from getting into your homes, standards and regulations, the ISO 27001 and the likes. And these days, because we are going virtual for everything, we now have virtual computer, so we'll teach you on cloud computing and that. And then business continuity, because if in any organization, we know that bad things can happen anytime, any day. So we need to have business continuity plan. We'll teach you how to do that and how to finally to do security analysis. And this will lead you to get jobs like cybersecurity consultant, cybersecurity analyst, and the host of other roles that you can see on Total Jobs that I've shown earlier. So that's the course. It's starting on 8th of October. If you're interested, like I shared my number before, my number is 07455 884242. I'll share that in the chat again, like I mentioned. So who is this course for? If you're an accountant, an engineer, business analyst, or manager, you're an academics or healthcare sector or professional with transferable skills. So once you do this training, or other ones that we have, you can do risk assessment trainings. Once you do that, you can search for jobs like this. And I think the next question somebody will be asking is, how long does it take? Our training is for 6 weeks. And because you are coming into a new sector, before you can get your lingos right and say, okay, I'm ready for jobs. Some people, like I have people that say, okay, miracle lady, incredible lady, awesome brother, based on how they've performed. I've had somebody that just one interview, the first interview, and she got the job, 45K, that's it. And I've had somebody that just did training within a month and a half, the person landed the job, 62K. I've gotten somebody that did the training within less than 3 months, he became a contractor, 450 pounds per day. So the jobs are there. What do you need? You just need some rudimentary knowledge and be able to do that. And because of this curve that I love a lot, people go through this kind of stage in life. You say, I know nothing. Then you start gathering your confidence gradually. And you get to a stage, you start saying, yes, I know. And that's peak of what? Mount stupid. At that point, you say, no, I don't think this is for me. And you've not been able to secure a job. And then you start dropping in confidence. So what do we do for people? We have groups that we've created. We come together, we talk about it. Where are you on this slope? Is there any challenge you are going through? How can we help you? Then we help people, coach them through what they said during the interview, coach them through CV writing, and help them to gain confidence. And we always knock on their door until they get to the slope of enlightenment. They say, okay, yes, I'm there. And from there, they gradually get to the plateau of sustainability. And what somebody will ask me is, how long does it take you to get to the slope of enlightenment? Within less than a year, you get there. So it just depends on your attitude, because your attitude determines your attitude. So you need to have what? You need to have courage, you have to be ambitious and resilient enough that you don't give up. Because if you give up easily, you will not get to the destination, and there are a lot of opportunities out there. So confidence is what you have before understanding the details. Anything you want to do in life, if we are not confident enough, you will not get there. Some people will come and do this training, they will say, okay, because I've not been able to get what I want within so month, I give up. This is not for you if you're that kind of person, but as long as you have confidence, the limit is beyond the sky for you. So on this note, I want to thank everybody for listening to me, and I'll take this opportunity to answer whatever questions that come. I want to say Jazakumullahu khairan for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Father Said Jimoh, for that very enlightening presentation regarding, trainings in cybersecurity. As you did rightly mention when you started, this is the world in which we are now. And Muslims must endure, when they are seeking knowledge, and must persevere. And at the end of the day, that is the nature of knowledge. After you acquire it, even the person who gave you cannot take it back again from you. You already have it. And then, the sky or beyond the sky is your limit. So we encourage, everyone to reflect over this And I believe that there will be a lot of questions and to be asked, perhaps maybe in relation to how to proceed on this. Let us have a brief interlude again, and then we come back to questions. Interlude, please.
Just under 60 seconds, I'm going to tell you why investing in this opportunity will change your life. Are you ready? Start the clock. Over 20 years ago, a group of believers acquired a derelict pub slap bang in the center of the Old Kent Road. As we've grown, so has our need for space. And we are embarking upon the journey of a lifetime to extend the good work of this masjid. And we need you to join us on this journey. Let me remind you of Allah's promise. Whoever builds a mosque for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him a house in paradise. And it doesn't stop there. The masjid that we build will continue to give you rewards for as long as it remains standing, perhaps decades after you pass away. Think about all the people who attend the mosque to pray 5 times a day, every single day of the year. The Jummah service that is attended by hundreds of people, the hundreds of youngsters learning how to recite the Quran, and your fellow brothers and sisters breaking their fast in the month of Ramadan, right here in this masjid. Inshallah, you'll get a slice of the reward. All of these and more coming straight to your scale of good deeds. So what are you waiting for? Help us build this masjid. Sponsor a prayer space and get your friends, neighbors and loved ones to sponsor one too. Or even better, get together and sponsor a whole saf. And inshallah, watch how Allah elevates you in this life and the next.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. I mean, that's another reminder about, the importance of contributing to building a mosque, and also the reward that awaits anybody who does that. Now tonight, can we perhaps maybe, if we have people who want to contribute to pay for one saf is £1,000, as was shown in that click. So who will continue? And it will be, it will be recorded as such that you've paid for one saf. So maybe within 5 minutes, this is active fundraising again. Are there any who wants to contribute to buying one saf? Depending on how many people contributed, as well as long as we hit the £1,000. Anybody who made a contribution to it will share of the reward of paying for one saf. So are there anybody who are interested in contributing to paying for one saf in the new mosque coming? Bismillah, let's do it quick because there will be opportunities for questions. Anybody who wants to start? Any takers? Any takers, please? So it appears that there's no
we
appetite
have
for
one help up. I'm not sure if
okay. Atunrashe, is that Alhaji Atunrashe, Abi?
yeah.
Okay, Bismillah. Alhaji Atunrashe, do you want to break the ice?
Yeah, £100, please.
£100. Jazakumullah khair jaza. Alhaji Atunrashe, £100. So who else want to make a contribution towards getting this off? Anyone else? Don't let us feel tired. Bismillah.
Kafaya to £100.
Kafaya ili to £100. Jazakillah khaira jaza. So that's 200, £800 to go. Alhaja Basira.
Alhaja Basira.
Alhaja Kwatira.
Sir.
MashaAllah. Now, Eshungawa.
£200.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. That's 400. Is going. The Jinadus. The Jinadus. Now?
£100.
£100. Baba Eshunga. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. So we are halfway now. £500 You know, this is really a brilliant community. I look at Ishian with sincerity, and I pray that Allah will continue to bless us. So we just need 500 pounds more to get the stuff. Yes, Alaja Jadi Koen. Ara Jadi, 1, 2, 3. Wa alaikum salam. Bismillah, we are listening. Then we have Shakira Jima.
Shakirat Jimo, 50 pounds.
50 pounds, Alaji.
Alaja Jadi, 50 pounds. Okay, Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Eshoma. And Alaja Shakira also, thank you very much. That's 600 now. We need just 400 pounds more. We just need 400 pounds more. So 50 pounds for Alaja Jadi, 50 pounds for Alaja Shakirat. So bringing it to 100, making it 600. Who else? For Oku 400. Alaja Kafaya, show for La.
100 pounds, please.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. May Allah reward you abundantly. We have, 700 pounds now. 300 more. Anybody? This is a soft. Buy into it. 300 pounds more. Auntie Yabo. Yes, ma'am. Auntie Yabo. We have 300 pounds to go. Anyone. Let's do it quick, please.
Pounds.
Raja, Auntie, about 50 pounds. Okay. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. 250 more to go. Okay. Maharufuddin. Alaji Oyekan.
100 pounds.
Mashallah. So we have 150 more to go now. 150 pounds to go.
Prof, inshallah, I'll donate the 150 to make it 1,000. Inshallah.
Mashallah. Yes. Yeah. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. You've gotten double reward. You've given us, some benefits of your knowledge. You also paid 150. So Jazakumullah khair. All those of you who have contributed to paying for one stuff, you know yourselves, 1,000 pounds, Allah knows you. And this is what we'll be doing every week now. We will see, we'll give people opportunity to buy one stuff. Because we thought about this and felt, we have to do this active fundraising because, sometimes, so it's not putting pressure. Please don't see it as pressure. It's just the fact that when we give that opportunity, those who have for that week will be able to donate. And those who don't have for that week, people who are not able to donate this week, who may donate next week, may donate following week. But we'll provide that opportunity of people pulling together to pay for one stuff of 1,000 pounds every week. And may Allah make it easy for every one of us. And may Allah make us part of, people who contribute to that. And Allah knows you, and this will be acknowledged. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Please, put your promises, your pledges in the account. Please show the account details again, please, so that people can remember this and they can do it as quickly as possible. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Now we move on to questions, please. Questions?
Assalamu alaikum. Please remember you can raise your hands to ask the questions directly to the panelists. So the first question we have here says, how many days a week to complete the 6 weeks, please?
Okay.
All right.
So,
no, Prof. To answer that question, is Saturdays per week? Sorry, or Saturday per week. So 6 Saturdays. So that is from 9 a.m. to 12 noon every Saturday for 6 weeks.
Okay. So 3 hours every Saturday from 9 to 12.
Yes, sir.
For 6 weeks. Yes.
Yeah.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. How much does it cost? Do you want to go into that?
Yeah,
you want that?
For the sake of the audience, I don't know. Last week I told them if they want to reach out to me, we can discuss.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Thank you very much. Any further questions?
Not at the moment. From the Q&A, no.
And I've been asked to share my contact details. I'm sending that in the chat box now.
Okay. So the contact details is in the okay, that's the phone number in the chat box. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. So any questions? I mean, may not be related to what we have discussed today. I mean, the platform, we have opportunity now because we have time. Now, I mean, Madam Said, if I may ask a question.
Okay.
There's a question. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the questioner is asking that, do you help your trainees to actually look for jobs?
That's a good question. The reason why I shared that website, which I can share again, is for people to be aware that this is very easy for people to find themselves. So if you look at Total Jobs, all you just need to do is come there, search for the job. But the only thing we assist them to do is, okay, you want to write your CV. We're happy to make sure your CV matches what they're looking for. There's what we call ATS now, Application Tracking System. Take, for instance, Vitality. They've advertised for this job now. And on this job, they will mention the kind of person they are looking for and what are the information specific to that role. ISO 27001, PCI DSS, Cyber Essentials, NIST, like that. If you don't have information relating to this on your CV, this will never pick your CV. So we'll guide you through doing that so that your CV can come to the desk of the hiring manager. And when it comes to the time of going for the interview, maybe you are developing cold feet, you don't know what to say, we will help you build your confidence. So that's what we'll do. So nobody will help you to go and apply for a job. You will do that, you apply for the job. When they've called you for interview, call us and then we'll guide you through what you need to say. That's the way it works.
Madam Said, the question I want to ask is about certification. You know, a lot of adverts will put a required qualification. Some may be professional, some may be academic.
Yeah.
Now, is this training certificated or, I mean, or not? And how does that relate to perhaps, I mean, putting it on your CV in respect to required certification?
Thank you very much, Prof. You just reminded me what I forgot to mention there. There are certifications that are unique to cybersecurity, like CISM, CISSP. That's what people will tell you if you want to go in cybersecurity. Oh, do you need to, do you have this or not? Do not be dissuaded by that. There are some free certifications that will guide you through. You use that to build your CV. And the rest, the bigger ones, you put them in view on your CV. So they will know that you have the foundational knowledge and you're building upon them. It will be a shocker for many people here. In cybersecurity, some of the roles you don't need to have a degree. That's how surprising. Some people that I've met within this industry, because I used to work in the bank in Nigeria, they will tell us you need to have a degree, and in any field before you work in the bank. It's the same thing in the UK. They just say, do you have a degree? But some roles, they will just jump to, do you have CISSP? Do you have CISM? Do you have Qualys? They don't even have whether you have a degree. So, and I have a mentee that is going through that process now. When the person came to me, I was worried. I don't have a degree. I said, don't worry. As long as you have the knowledge, that's what we want to test. As an interviewer, I sit on the panel interviewing people, and I still go for interviews to test my CV in the market. to know what they're looking for. So certification is good, is nice to have, but if you don't have it, you shouldn't be dissuaded by that, saying, no, I don't want to do it. It's a gradual process. Some people, it takes them 3 months, they get there, some 6 months. So it depends on how you're ready to put in effort. I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yes, it does. I mean, it does definitely. I mean, and I was asking it because, I mean, as you rightly mentioned, this will be going around in the minds of people. So clarifying that, I mean, helps a lot in relation to, especially in situations like this. I mean, we have, for example, in our university, we have, I mean, many people who help with, I mean, cybersecurity, and only a couple of them have degrees. It's about being able to, I mean, do the job, I mean, well. Now, I mean, just last week, actually, we had, you know, previously we were using, I mean, Google, the Google package, Google email and everything. And most universities now are moving, you know, to Microsoft Outlook, Microsoft 365. So we just did that, I mean, over the holidays. And the IT people sent emails to indicate that, I mean, after that, there was so much exposure to cyber attacks.
Yeah.
You know, and they were going around in order to try to, I mean, firewall and prevent people from, you see so many, because when we're using Google, we had a lot of, I mean, firewalls, but rarely would you see phishing emails coming in. But immediately they did the transfer. I mean, if you see the load of, you know, just coming phishing people, so many emails. I mean, you see so many emails as if it's coming from a colleague within the system.
Definitely, yeah.
That, look, I mean, it was so bizarre. And then they quickly tried to find a way, and within 2 days, they sorted, I mean, all those out. So as you rightly mentioned, it's really an area that is up for grabs now, really.
Yeah, Prof, the reason why I raised up my hand was that I forgot to mention to everybody that the course that I'm talking about that I train people on is accredited by CPD. I have to go through that process so that people can give that recognition to the course. I'm not just doing it for, say, I want to just collect people's money. It's just to ensure that we empower our people in this sector.
Jazakumullahu khairan jaza.
Is there age limits to the training?
Oh, good question. I saw it. I don't want to. I just don't want to answer my brother, who's from Rawali Azan. There's no age limit. I'll tell you a funny story. Like Prof mentioned, somebody was interested in Azure, Microsoft Azure, and he learned it when he was age 59. And because, you know, the challenges at that age, he was struggling with knowledge. And by the time he clocked 60, he got his opportunity in this same sector. So it depends on the readiness of your mind. So there's no age limit. And if I tell you one thing again, there are people that are going into this sector through apprenticeship. Government is sponsoring some companies to train people for free. Yeah. But the thing you get from that is that you don't have somebody to hold your hand after the training. So in this sector, you need somebody to hold your hand to show you how to do things. You don't just jump into a pool of water without going through training, if that helps to answer the question more.
Okay. Can applicants...
I think there's a house. Some two people are raising their hands there.
Okay. Should we take them before this question in the Q&A?
No, it's your discretion. I just thought that's maybe I should mention.
Can applicants apply for this course without having any IT qualification or background in the cyber industry?
Okay, good question again. The guy that I told you, the first job he got was £450 per day. He read sociology from University of Ilorin. So he was my junior. And when he came, it was the same question he asked me. I said, are you ready to learn? He said, yes. Do you have a laptop? He said, yes. Can you commit time? He said, yes. And the rest is story. It's history now for us. So if you are ready to learn, that's the only thing we need. I can commit the time to what you have been taught. Definitely, you don't need to have any prior IT knowledge. We are not asking you to come on the couple computer, run network cable. No, that's not what we're asking you to do.
Elijah Kwatira, please.
Oh, my question is relative to MAN UK. Can you give us a gratis lesson or training to our own member of IT team so that we can have the patches as they're ready, firewall is built in, whether it's phishing or hacking, somebody is there for us as trained by yourself, or as well to be a kind of quote unquote, a consultant to MAN UK. Thank you.
I think I'll answer with the last question you mentioned there. By default, I'm available to MAN. I'm a member of MAN. So you can call me anytime, any day. I'm ready to render that service and then pass on the knowledge as well.
Thank you.
So the executives are listening, inshallah. So they will reach out to you, Bismillah.
Yeah. The other question we have here says when people go for jobs, they are asked about their work experience. With the cybersecurity where you get paid so much, are you not going to be asked about work experience?
Good question. You'll be asked about work experience. And like I said, everybody here, you've gotten one experience or the other. So we just need to put you in that cybersecurity mode. You know, they use the word tailor your CV a lot of time. You just need to tailor your CV. And then remember that many of us, when we came into this country, I'm not trying to belittle any job. They will ask you whether you've done cleaning before. Did you tell them you've not done it before? No. You tailor your CV, right? Have you done security job before? Would you tell them no? You would never say that. You tailor your CV too. So this is a thing that will help you to do. A friend of mine that I told you got a job, got 62K recently, has never done cybersecurity before, but we sat down, put the person in that mode of, okay, tell us the job you've done before. And we started talking about those jobs, thinking about it. And then we started bringing out those things related to cybersecurity. And we're able to tailor the CV to that job. And you go to that interview, defend yourself. You're not going there to claim I'm a technical person, but I can bring tailorable skills to this job. And we are not looking for genius in our industry. We are looking for people that are trainable. So that's what I would say to answer that question.
Jazakumullah khairan. And another hint, in every industry, if you want to apply, they ask for experience. And sometimes you can negotiate this. Now, for example, if the salary on offer is 45,000 and they want somebody who has perhaps maybe a year experience, you can negotiate it if you are really confident, indicating that you will take less salary and to bring you to 45,000 in a year's time. Do you get the point? And yes, many companies jump for that. A lot of people don't know this. If, for example, the salary of a person who has 1 year experience is 45,000, you say I will take less, as long as I will get to 45,000 in 1 year. You know, and that will compensate for. And many, especially in these times when things are really down economic wise, so many companies buy that. As long as you show that you have the skills, you are employable, you are trainable, they will offer you less and you learn on the job. And by 1 year, you are up to where you will have started.
Thank you very much, Prof. That you mentioned there, you go for interview, somebody will tell you, okay, this interview you are going for, the salary range is between, I'm just keep plugging a number from the air, it's between 35K and 45K. And you ask them why, they'll say, because it is based on experience that will give this money. So some people will say, I want to go for the highest, and they will interview you based on that. So that's a good point Prof mentioned there. Thank you very much, sir.
Somebody is asking for clarification that the 6 weeks does it mean a day a week? I guess that's what it means, but just to clarify.
Yes, one Saturday per week. So let's say this week now, this Saturday, 9 to 12, then following week, 9 to 12 at the same time. So that's what it means, 1 day per week.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Perhaps, I mean, before we continue with the questions, let's take the financial secretary wants to give us a financial update. So we can take that in 5 minutes. And we'll still have another 5 minutes, I mean, if there are still rounds of questions. So financial secretary, please. Finance, are you there? I think the finance, okay. What's happening?
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sorry about that. I was just, okay, let me just get my, okay. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, but it's very tiny.
Okay, sorry, because I'm using my phone. Is it better now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Thank you.
It's actually too big now. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, this is fine.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much to our speaker and to yourself, Allah Amarinche. So this is the financial update as of the 23rd of September. And just to kind of draw people's attention to it, the figures might be slightly different from one that was shared last week, but this is the final, the shortfall and the additional cost is the final cost, and the outstanding is the final cost for phase 1. Okay, we're not doing any work anymore until, inshallah, we're able to pay this amount to our contractors and our consultants. So I will start by saying, the donations received so far in pounds sterling is £693,700.31. The Naira rate, the Naira amount is in there. We haven't converted it this week because, the fluctuation rate. So when we do eventually move the Naira money back into, change it back to pound sterling, we would give you the exact conversion rate there. So for Cod Arsenal, we've been, people, alhamdulillah, people has borrowed us the total amount of £254,960, which brings our total of donation received so far to £948,660.31. And our shortfall as it stands now is £82,574.53. So from last week up until the 16th of September, we've donation received, including Cordias and received so far, is £7,743.50. Just a Jazakallah khairan to everybody that's donated, that's borrowed us the godly loan. Please, we are like Oliver Twist, we want more. May Almighty Allah continue to enrich our pockets. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Now, I remember the upper week I indicated that we need to draw a line on that 100,000. It has fallen down to 82,000. So we should have 82,500 to draw a line on the stage phase 1. And as the financial secretary has mentioned, we need to get that done before we can move into phase 2. So we'll continue calling and hoping that inshallah we'll be able to do this, very, 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 very quickly, either through Sadaqatul Jariyah or Qard Hasan. But it's doable. We should try as much as possible to bear this in mind, that we have a deficit of 82,574.53. So may Allah make it easy for us, and may Allah, reward us. It's going down little by little. If the £1,000 we raised today goes in, it costs to 81,000. So we should not be dejected. The important thing is we have hope and continue to put into it. We should not feel that, well, 20 pounds is too small. 2,000. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So you don't look at the big sum. Whatever Allah makes it easy for us, even if it's 10 pounds, you just put it in it. And by the time you know it, we'll be able to clear this off. So may Allah make it easy for every one of us, inshallah. Are there any other questions before we call it a day today? So if there are no questions,
there is one last question.
There's one, okay.
As well as 100. The question is, the trainings, are they physical or is it online?
Good question. It's virtual, so we're doing it via Zoom.
Okay.
Shakrat Jimo has her hands up.
Okay.
Salam alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
I only want to add that we should kindly share the account detail for us, please.
Okay. Account details.
Yes, sir.
Account details again, please. Can that be shared?
It's been put on the chat. If you look on the chat,
okay.
Event details of that.
Sorry, you might need to share it again, because that is only to the host and panelists.
Okay. So it's being shared now. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. We want to thank our guest speaker today, Madam Said Jimo. May Allah reward you and may Allah put it in your mizan of khair. And every member of the audience, we thank you for your time. May Allah count it as a ibadah for every one of us. Our all you who believe today is Surah At-Tawbah, Quran chapter 9, ayah 119. Very short. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as salihin. All you who believe, be conscious of Allah and always, be amongst those who do good. Keep company of those who do good all the time. So may Allah make it easy for us to be amongst those who do good all the time. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Until we meet next week, inshallah, I'll hand over now back to Alaja Fadila Alabi to sign us off.
Jazakumullah khairan for sharing your knowledge with us today, both Prof and our brother Ebra Sahid. So until we meet again next week, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The urgent need to cater for our fast-growing community of mosque users. The belief in Allah's promise to reward every effort towards the building of a mosque with paradise and our commitment to the next generation of believers informed our decision to start the rebuild by pulling down the 100-year-old building. Now is the time to have a brand new purpose-built 6-story Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Centre, strategically sited here in London. Join us on this journey of faith by donating and encouraging others to do the same. You can pay in any currency. May Allah bless you abundantly. Ameen.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما